Nation says they call this one Ghana Piano, and that's something they are introducing, a new genre of music that they are introducing here in Ghana as well. And we're loving it. We're loving this brand new one. They call it Check My Zingo. Well, we're checking what's happening on TikTok this time around, and conversations are rife as to whether Ghana and other African countries should consider banning TikTok in totality or aspects of it, just so we can protect children and other users as well. A study has been conducted on this matter, and we'll get into that conversation shortly. But just to let you know, Somalia at the moment has banned TikTok, Telegram, and one expert, and that's because they're saying that it's influencing younger people with regards to terrorism, because the terrorists are using those platforms to propagate their message, and so that is why there's been a need to ban it. In the US and in Canada, TikTok is banned on government devices as well, because there was a concern that China was using that to spy on them. And so there have been a lot of issues here and there with regards to TikTok. Here in Ghana, however, the concern is that we're using it for more fun activities than learning activities, and that's a major problem. So what do you make of this conversation? If you're on TikTok, then this is for you as well. Joining us in the studio this morning is Joseph Albert Curie.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that right. Yeah, go me. I got it right. Curie. Right. Okay, and he's a creative director and editor of Technova GH. Good to have you in the studios.
Thank you for having me.
Nashiko is here with us anyway. Yes. But also, Fio Richardson Kome is a deputy executive director for operations at the National Commission on Culture, and he joins us via Zoom, and is the one that actually conducted this study and will give us some more insight into this. Good morning to you as well. How are you doing, sir?
Good morning, Bella, and I'm doing well. How are you?
Fine, thank you. And thank you for joining us on TV3Newday. So tell us what necessitated this study in the first place.
Okay, thank you very much once again, and good morning to your cherished viewers. Yes, the National Commission on Culture for some time now has been monitoring all our social media platforms, WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the rest, and then also TikTok. But we realized that with TikTok, there's been a lot of involvement of the young people because of the video content in there. And so we had to really pay attention to it. And Bella, if you could remember, we had some videos from students who had to even call the president names.
Not to cut you, sir. Please hold on. If you can just reposition your camera, because it's just giving us a side view, so we can't really see you fully. Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Landscape.
Okay, can we get the landscape?
Yeah. Landscape and straight.
Yeah. Okay, yes. Now it's better. Please carry on.
Okay. All right. And so we got to a point where we had young people recording and calling leaders of this country names that were not palatable and all that. And so we had to really go into it. And then we realized that there are a lot of young people involved using TikTok, showing nudity, discussing a lot of issues that are profane and not really helpful to the growth of young people in this country. We also realized that there are a lot of adult content also that are not really screened in any, and so any young people who have access to phones and all that could easily get into TikTok and will have access to all these videos, whether it is for adult or whether it is for young people of any age. You know, the person could have access to it. So we had to draw the attention of the stakeholders that could manage our cyberspace and try to talk to them that indeed Ghana needs to pay attention to TikTok. And mind you, even in China, the version of TikTok they are using is not
Different.
what we are here in Ghana. The version that they are using is also having some limitations where the kind of content we are putting on there cannot be allowed in China. So there's a different kind of app that this company has put out there for those who are outside of China to use, which is different from what they have. And so it means that in going forward, we need to look at what we can do as a country, whether we are going to ban TikTok completely, or we need to look at how we can put certain limitations out there to be able to make sure we prevent young people from getting access to certain content.
Which side do you lean on more? Is it to ban completely or to put, in place some mechanism to ensure that some censorship takes place?
We have seen that there are a lot of people who are also using the app for a lot of good things. There are musicians whose songs have gone viral because of TikTok. There are a lot of people who are selling the companies that are selling their products on TikTok and all that. And so we are of the firm belief that indeed it also has some really, really positive sides. A lot of people are using it as a marketing tool and all that. And it is helping in their businesses. And so I believe that we cannot have a complete ban. And if we should do that, it means it must also affect all other social media platforms. Because when you go to Facebook also, Bella, we are extending our study there, and it's quite dangerous. The kind of reels, Facebook reels that you see, and the kind of content you see out there is also quite dangerous. And so I think that within all our platforms, social media platforms that we are having here in Ghana, we should be able to critically study them and see how we can put some limitations on some of them.
All right. I was going to ask you about your surveys or research on other social media platforms that allow for video content sharing, like Instagram, like WhatsApp status, Facebook, and so on. I'm glad you mentioned it. But because our concern right now is about TikTok, I'd like to find out, is there something special about the architecture of TikTok which allows for the propagation of these indecent videos and messages?
Well, the first point is that the app has a very simple feature that is not too difficult to navigate, and so a lot of young people find it so easy in using it. So it is not very difficult in recording on TikTok. I mean, it has a good timer that will even give you the cue, okay, to prepare yourself and then get your recording done and all that, which is not the same with other platforms and all that. So it is how simple the app has also become that makes it quite easier for young people and every class of individuals to be able to use.
Oh, no. Okay. I think we lost him, but maybe we can bring you in because, I mean, on this question as well, on the back of the fact that when it comes to other countries, governments are taking, center stage and making the decisions on this matter. Right. But we don't seem to find that in Ghana as well. And all these other governments who have gone ahead to either ban some aspects of TikTok in some sectors are saying that it's because of security breaches.
Yes.
So what are we waiting for as a country before we get there? Because now there's a study that talks about even how it affects children and young people. But there's always been that scare that TikTok could be spying on governments and decisions that they're making. Yeah. Are you worried that for some reason in Ghana we haven't made any decision on this?
We haven't made a decision yet, but I know that government does have a cybersecurity force currently working on something. But at the moment, there's no rules or framework about how to manage social media in Ghana. With the other aspect about security in other countries, I know the US, for instance, has banned it on government official devices, so that because of the kind of conspiracy that China officials might be spying on them. In Ghana, we don't have the framework to say that we are monitoring these activities on TikTok, on Instagram, or other social media platforms. But we need to start looking at it, because what's happening now is there was a report, I think in 2019, that Huawei had installed some security devices at the AU headquarters in Ethiopia, and they were spying on or had some listening devices on there. So when it comes to Chinese companies and Chinese propaganda, there's still that issue of are Chinese officials spying on African leaders? So the question is, are government looking at all these Chinese companies and what data they're sending back to the mainland China?
And that's the thing. What kind of data are we sending? Because when you sign on, none of us reads the license agreements because it's too long.
It's very long.
So I just click on OK and then it goes. But a lot of people have said that if only we knew what we were signing on to, we probably would not even download any of these apps.
Yes, I mean, even when you download an application, it asks you, can we access certain things on your devices? So TikTok, for instance, they access your calendar, they can access your contacts, they can access your camera, your audio, your microphone. But we don't know the extent of how much data is being sent outside the country when using these apps.
What is the real threat? It will seem that America has succeeded in giving TikTok a very bad reputation from its onset during COVID. But is it hypothetical, this threat that TikTok poses? If it's not, what is the real threat? Is there a weakness in the architecture of the app that allows maybe cyber criminals to be able to access our information? And to what extent can they use this information if they can access it?
So currently, there's no necessarily leak or anything that's built into the application. Right now, because ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok, is a Chinese company, there's always this stereotype that Chinese are using their apps or services for surveillance. But TikTok itself, there's no necessarily malware or anything built on the back end. It's about the transmission of data. Where is it going? I know in the US, they found out that, some information is being sent back to mainland China, where some maybe Chinese officials might have access to that data. But what the data is being used for, there's no concrete or information that is necessarily being used by Chinese officials.
But they can access the data?
Yes, it's been reported that they can access the data, but as far as concrete evidence, there's nothing to show that they can.
It's still hypothetical.
It's still more hypothetical. China and America, they have this type of, rivalry or what's happening as far as information. I think just today, the US is trying to sign an agreement with TikTok to actually get more access to the app to find out what's happening on the back end.
But still on the possible access of our personal data, is this information available to only the developers of the app or also available to cyber criminals or anyone who can get past the setup?
So currently, it's just available to the developers of the application. So as far as security, I know security is very tight on the app. They tell you about the security details when you're logging information. They tell you about how to access, if you're hacked in case, what to do in that aspect. But there's no necessarily showing that cyber criminals can actually access your data. It's more about data being sent to China at the moment.
And the fact that they're watching us, which I suspect all the time, they're listening to us. Because sometimes you mention something and before you realize it, you see an ad. That's the first thing you see on your phone. Exactly. But Petra Reynolds is joining us. She's the TikTok lead here at MG Digital and should run us through exactly how many people or subscribers are on TikTok and how this goes a long way to affect our everyday lifestyle. Petra, you're welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Talk to us.
Okay, so basically this morning we are talking about TikTok and how many people are using it and also by age and gender. So we have here some statistics as at 2023 this year. And I'm going to begin by saying we have 1.677 billion users and we have 1.1 active users. So on this screen here we have how many users TikTok users are there in 2023. So from the year 2017, TikTok was launched. We had 100 million users, and coming down to 2023, we have 1,677.
That's 1 billion actually.
1 billion, 1 billion
1.6 billion users.
1.6 billion, 77 million users. Okay, so moving from there, we have TikTok users by gender. So we have female and male. We have 53% female and 46% male, which means females are using TikTok more than the males. Okay. And also we have TikTok users by age. And we have under 18, 28%.
Wow.
We have 19 to 29, 35%. And then we have 30 to 39. We have 18% of them. Then we have 39 plus 19% using TikTok. If you are below the age of 18, when you sign up, you automatically join TikTok for young users. So,
but hold on, Petra. So what do they ask for you to know if you are below 18 or not? Because I could lie, unless you're using my ID card, right?
Yes, you could lie, but usually parents are supposed to keep an eye on their kids. Yes, so
I think as you sign up, when you try to sign up, it would ask you your year of birth.
Your year of birth.
So when you fill that in, it automatically decides, figures out how old you are. So you wouldn't know at the time you are writing your year of birth what that information will be used for.
Yes,
that's correct.
That's the assumption.
Yeah, that's correct.
So after you pass that stage,
that's when
they would categorize you into.
But you know, there are some kids who decide that, okay, I don't want to be seen as a child, so let me go ahead and, increase
some kids will go past. Some kids will go past.
And so that means that there's really no way to sensitize that space for children who might lie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or after installation, when you find that the reason I've been asked this question is so that I could be putting TikTok for kids, they would uninstall, reinstall, and get past it.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah,
that's scary. It's scary. Do you have more, Petra?
Okay, so moving on to, this is distribution of TikTok users worldwide as of July 2023 by age and gender. That is both male and female. And we have, between the ages of 18 to 24, we have 19.5, that is females by the blue and then male by the black. So between the ages of 25 to 34, we have 16.3% females and then 16.6 male. And then between the ages of 35 to 34, we have 7.9 and then 7.8. 45 to 54, we have 4.3 and then 4%. And 55 plus, we have 3.2% and then 2.6%. So basically, females between the ages of 18 to 24 are using TikTok more.
So this is a Gen Z app.
Yes, we have lots of Gen Zs on TikTok.
Is there information on the categorization of content on TikTok?
No.
There's no information on that?
No, please.
Okay.
I see.
All right.
So the last one is how much time actually people spend on TikTok. So we have daily 1.5 hours, we have weekly 10.5 hours, monthly 45 hours, and yearly 500.
Are you sure it's 1.5 hours only for daily? Because I feel like people literally sleep averagely, yes.
Yeah,
but people
on the app,
on
yes.
TikTok.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Because you know what it does? So the algorithm is such a way that when you start watching something, it knows what you like. So it keeps feeding you with all. And so you could spend maybe 2 hours just literally watching TikTok.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's even more worrying.
Yeah.
It's designed.
But I think this is based on like averagely one person, as far as the person can go.
1.5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Or maybe for morning, then after that in the evening, they'll come back again and come and do.
Maybe so.
Petra, thank you so much for joining us. And Petra is the digital lead for TikTok here at MG Digital. But those are staggering figures. And statistics.
Yes. I mean, the numbers are very high because TikTok is designed to be addictive.
It's designed to be addictive.
Yes, because once you watch a video, the algorithm in the back knows that, okay, you might like this content. So what it does is it shows you another content.
It shows you more.
And it's very easy to swipe up and see the next video. So what happens is when you start watching one video and you like it, it just shows you
just go down
similar. So it keeps going and going. It's like a vicious cycle.
When I first got on TikTok, Bella, it was during COVID, and it was actually during the lockdown. We're all at home and we didn't have much to do.
Yeah.
So I go on TikTok, I see a video, and I keep going. Before I know it, I've gone down this rabbit hole. 2 hours, I'm still, watching the videos. But I thought at the time that it was because I had so much time on my hands and I had nowhere to go. Post-COVID, even when we came back to work, I noticed, like, sometimes in traffic,
Yeah, watching TikTok.
I feel like I should go check out what's on TikTok. So I'm one of the people who deactivated my TikTok app very early because I felt like it was taking way too much of my time. And unlike Instagram and other apps, for Instagram and other apps, you can decide how many hours you want to spend on the app, and you won't be locked out, but you sort of cannot immediately go back onto the app after that time has lapsed.
Yes.
But TikTok doesn't give you that.
So TikTok actually has a feature where it limits you to an hour. I think it's in the setting, but you have to set that to say that I want to limit myself to an hour. But you can still bypass that limit and just keep watching the videos if you want.
How easy is it to see this limit? Because I've never seen it. Is it hidden in the fine print?
It's there, but it's not necessarily encouraged because TikTok wants you to keep watching the app.
Yeah, so they hide it.
Yeah, it's not promoted, but it's there.
Now it's looking for an excuse to go back there and still watch the videos that she loves without having to spend all those hours there.
But I think it's very interesting that the developers of the app were able to incorporate something or the algorithm which keeps you addicted.
Yes.
Why don't other app developers who do other apps for, I don't know, reading books, Kindle, etc., have such inputs?
I mean, you have to give credit to the developers because the algorithm that they develop is very, very well done. So what happens is that it just takes what you like and just compares it, I guess, with other users and gives you that kind of holistic viewing pleasure. Because, like you said, Instagram doesn't do that as much. The other apps like Twitter doesn't do as much. So TikTok is very well done as far as the algorithm to give you the content that you want and keep you addicted to the application.
Let's go to Mr. Kome, who's back on Zoom. And I'm just going to quote something that you said in an interview that you granted. You said that we need a very good and robust digital space that will be able to make sure that if I pick my phone or my father buys me a phone and there's a need to input my particulars, my date of birth and everything, then I should be restricted. And he said, we really need a clear guide as South Africa and other African countries are doing. What exactly is South Africa doing that you think we can replicate here in Ghana?
Yeah, Bella, South Africa has a very strong, they call it cultural policy, that regulates the entire media space. And so they have a very, very active monitoring mechanism that are able to monitor. For instance, if the license for TV3 to practice says that they should be able to provide 30% local content. There's a mechanism to be able to check daily, weekly, and monthly whether TV3 is complying by that rule. And they have put such mechanism also in place for the use of mobile devices and the rest, where if you have to give your child a phone and you input the particulars, it means that any app that is not friendly to young people, automatically that child cannot even download it, when even the parent is not around.
Okay.
Because of the information that the phone already has. And so I think that is where we need to, and I know my brother could understand this even better than me, that we really need to go to that extent with the digitalization agenda of this government. What is the data that we are providing for government, in terms of our Ghana ID cards, our passports, and all that? What are all these data feeding into the gadget we use and how we use social media in this country? Because it should be able to guide us, technically for, to provide these limitations and standards to some classes of people, especially in terms of age. And I think that it is about time Ghana look at that specifically and provide that kind of cyber support for young people.
But also, is there a way, of course, we're asking government to step in, and this will be my final question to you, but is there a way we can also encourage people to control what they also sort of search for on TikTok? Because again, we're saying that in China, all they see are educational programs and activities. Maybe because of what they also search, could that be the reason? And if we could do that here, then maybe on our own we can control the algorithm and what we see on TikTok?
Indeed, Bella, that's why I'm very happy. And I must really commend TV3 for this conversation, because this is what we need to do. I think we need to have a lot more education on how to use our social media platforms in this country. Parents, in particular, need to be very much interested in what kind of content their children are exposed to. Nowadays, a child will be having his headphone on and will be nodding to some kind of music or watching some content, and parents wouldn't bother to find out what is really engaging that child and all that.
Yeah.
And so I think that we need to really pay attention as parents, because these things really start from the home.
Yeah.
When we give these gadgets as
Okay.
birthday gift and all that to our children, and we don't pay attention as to what they are going to use this gadget after their birthday.
All right, Mr. Comey, thank you so much for joining us. And, well, I'm sure we'll do a part 2 of this, because we really need to get into the nitty-gritties of this matter and help everyone who may be watching or may be addicted to any of these social media platforms. Mr. Theo Richardson Comey is the Deputy Executive Director for Operations at the National Commission on Culture, and Joseph Albert Curry is a creative director and editor of Tech Nova GH. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us.
Thank you.
AJ says she's taking us to South Africa, and so she's here to tell us all about it, right? Well, we'll come back and talk about that shortly.